going. How's it going, guys? Welcome to After Hours, where we already drank quite a bit, and we're starting a podcast now. In case you didn't know what the name of the podcast is, it's After Hours.
After when? Hours. Just kidding.
Exactly. After where?
Hours.
After how? Hours. Makes no sense. And we're back with another episode of After Hours. How's it going, guys? You just heard the intro you hear every time. And this week, Derrick's not the sound guy. I'm the sound guy this week. But, you know, we have him as a guest, so he doesn't have to worry about that kind of stuff. So he can be relaxed, chilling, drinking an IPA the way he does, his natural habitat. By the way, Derrick is on the podcast this week. I'm your host, Urian. My co-host, Darren, a.k.a. Mike, a.k.a. Dinkit, is to my right.
Yeah, Dinkit Mike all the time. I'm just kidding, no.
Again, it's Dinkit Darren.
That's going to become a thing, though.
That's a
great.
Dinkit Mike.
Dinkit Mike.
It doesn't match. Anyways, we got the theme this week, which is horror.
You know what's funny? Is that, like, Dinkit with Darren was, like, one of the episodes we never released.
No. It was with Eric.
No, because it was already a thing before that. Because we mentioned it during that podcast, but it was also because it was a callback to something we did earlier. Just because you can hear your
voice doesn't mean you can talk lower.
Oh, my bad. Okay, my bad. Hold on, let me take these things off.
He's listening to headphones, by the way. But yeah,
that, and I probably should move this thing closer to my face.
But yeah, so theme this week is horror. So for the random of the week, we're just gonna tell small scary stories. But you know, not get too deep into that because it's not October yet. You know, we're getting there.
Yeah,
we got about 4 months.
Yeah, we got a few months till we, not to spoil it for anybody, but we're collecting scary stories from like a lot of the guests that we have, just so that we can like release it during that time, and hopefully it'll be fun. We're obviously
sounds like we just spoiled it.
No, hopefully it's all like we don't plan on just like doing like, hey, it's just here's some stories, listen to that shit. We'll probably like re-listen to them, give our commentary, give a little feedback on them. It'd be fun.
Yeah, like, no, I'm excited.
It'd be a good time to like re-listen to everybody, give our feedback.
So, you know, what are we drinking today?
Today we got, I don't know if this
Scotch.
is pronounced. Yeah, it's a Scotch. I don't know if it's correct pronunciation, but I've always heard it referred to as Dewars.
Dewars. Well, like people who do things.
Yeah.
But it's spelled DEWAR''S. And it's a white label apparently, blended Scotch whiskey. It says True Scotch, and there's a thing at the bottom that says John Dewar and Sons Limited.
The weird thing is I've always seen that as a double cast.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I don't see it saying double cask on this one.
I'm just used to seeing it as a double cast.
No,
I don't know why.
for sure. But it's a pretty damn good Scotch, and we've sullied it
by mixing it with a few different things tonight.
And we know that's not what you're supposed to do with Scotch, but you know.
How is that working out for you guys?
I enjoy it, actually. we were told, I saw on the internet somewhere that said whiskey was originally meant for mixing with whiskey.
Something like you were supposed to mix whiskey with something.
Well, with Mountain Dew.
You said mix whiskey with whiskey.
Mountain Dew. Did I say whiskey?
Yeah.
Okay.
You said whiskey twice.
Sorry. Again,
probably isn't a bad idea.
This is.
I mean, we can mix
hours.
whiskey with whiskey.
And you know, I've already had a little bit, but
you know what goes good with whiskey?
Whiskey. But yeah, Mountain Dew. I read somewhere on the internet that Mountain Dew was invented to go with whiskey. We wanted to try that, and I'm like, you know what sounds better than Mountain Dew? Squirt. It's close to Mountain Dew, not the same. But
it's pretty good.
I like Squirt a lot better.
A lot more.
A lot better.
All right. We'll go with that.
Mountain
and then
Dew
we were like, you know what tastes better than whiskey? Scotch. So we just upgrade both of them.
It's like, let's Let's live the high life for a change.
We don't have any Miller High Life. We don't have the champagne of
Champagne of beers.
Yeah, what he said.
Champagne.
Campagne.
So yeah, and we might have mixed a little bit of orange juice or cranberry juice with it as well. But it all works really well. So, anyways,
well, one of the things I've always heard of, like, if you weren't able to drink scotch, it was like scotch and soda, and like that's what it is essentially. Like
ginger ale.
Yeah, ginger ale, something refreshing with a crisp taste, and that's what squirt is. The low end version of the high end. It's good. The high end of the low, I guess.
For sure. Yeah, for sure.
High and low.
Again, we have Derrick with us. Did you want to do any plugs at the beginning? We'll also give you plugs at the end.
Yeah, give it a good plug, man.
I'm just not feeling it right now.
You're not feeling it right now?
I mean, with that hat on, you got to give a mad plug.
I've told
it's
Derrick
great.
many a times, like, this is one of my favorite hats that he wears. I've only seen him wear...
I've only seen you wear it once, and it was a time where we just got...
hammered downtown.
People got I won't say who, but people got hammered in downtown.
I got hammered. And he was wearing 5 suit with that hat, but that hat fits with almost every occasion, I feel like.
Yeah.
Just because you wear it,
it's almost
matches.
like my podcasting hat now.
Oh, is it?
Well, okay, so
Wait, I couldn't do that.
well,
There we go.
I gotta ask you, what do you think about the scotch? Because you're drinking it straight right now.
We had it straight first time, so not like we didn't like.
Yeah, we didn't start the sacrilege until we tasted it straight.
It's not bad, but I don't really have much of a palate for scotch.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. No, I could definitely taste the
Isn't
difference.
that one other one that's up on the fridge?
The Lagavulin?
Actually, not the Lagavulin. The other one we got.
Glenfiddich or Glen Highland?
I think I like the Glenfiddich a little more.
No,
Well,
it had a funny ass name. It's on the fridge. I'll be right back. Keep talking.
But then that one too. I think I like those ones more, but they're probably... What was this priced at?
This one is actually, well, technically it's in like the $20, $30 range.
Okay,
It's not like... It's weird because like in a... Kind of like how Belvedere and Grey Goose are like a high-end vodka in bars. This is technically supposed to be like a top shelf thing, but now it's just like a $20, $30 bottle.
It was called Glenmorangie.
Glenmorangie.
Why would you say that?
It's GLENMORANGIE. How would you say it? Do it.
I mean, I'm not going to, but
That's
pretty
what
funny.
That's what I thought.
But anyway, that was actually delicious. That was really sweet.
That was really smooth.
Yeah.
Almost to a fault.
Too smooth, way too smooth.
But yeah, this one has a lot of... That one has a kick. I like this one a lot better. One, because it has the kick and it has that smoky flavor. The other one had that smoky flavor, but was too smooth.
Yeah, and like I'm pretty sure I said this last time, is that it didn't give you mouthfeel at all. Like it was so smooth that it never gave you any mouthfeel.
It was almost like swallowing syrup.
Yeah, and this Endures is more like it's got a bite and it lingers a little bit.
Exactly, which is what I like about this scotch, actually. Call me an alcoholic. I don't care. Like that. Like I like the things I like.
I mean, that's the whole like idea behind cigars too. You're not supposed to inhale them. It's literally just mouthfeel.
It's the taste. Yeah,
it's mouthfeel.
I've never had. The only cigars I've had were those cheap dollar ones.
Really?
You know what I'm talking about? Like the cherry flavor, the vanilla flavor.
Like
yeah,
a prime time.
times.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, but I don't really smoke anymore.
Or Dijarms.
Me either. Dijarms aren't even like cigars, dude. Those are cloves.
Oh.
Cloves are weird. The only reason I think they're weird is because like when you smoke them, they pop. That's the one of the main ingredients in chai tea and it's hilarious.
I like chai tea.
Okay, so
don't like chai tea?
so I hate chai tea because if you've ever smoked a clove, it's like, oh shit, I've burned this and it's got this taste in my mouth.
Whenever I was young and I had like a tooth source or whatever,
Yeah.
like my mom would make me chew on cloves because it would make it numb.
Yeah, because it numbs. It has a numbing sensation to it.
Yeah. And then I remember in high school, not high school, when my brother was in high school, I was in middle school, junior high, and he was secretly trying to smoke something blacks. What are they called? Camel blacks? Were they Camel blacks? No, they were Marlboro blacks. What are they called?
Probably
something
Marble
blacks.
Blacks.
No, it was probably. Well, what are you trying to talk about?
Something blacks. But they really
I think
had.
Camel
they re-
might have Camel.
They really
Blacks,
had
too.
that.
Were they cloves?
The clove smell to it when he smoked it.
Oh, okay. So it wasn't Marble Black or Camel Black at the time because those were like really strong.
Mm-hmm.
Those were just the Black series of Camel and Marlboro were the new flavors actually. Marlboro, like I don't know if anybody knows this too much, but like Marlboro Blacks is how they developed 27s, and 27s was just literally just the number, like the number of trials that they had until they got it right. Till they got that blend down right. It was
Sure.
this, like Marlboro Blend 27 is technically Marlboro Black, but it was their 27th iteration of it.
1 second.
Ew.
But Marlboro
Sorry.
Blacks used to be great. Like they were like, if you were a person who liked a strong cigarette and had like a strong mouthfeel, it was one of those things that like Marlboro Black started out super like it was weird because back in the day it was like you wanted like a super harsh cigarette and none of them did it, and then Marlboro Blacks came out and it was just like it got to you.
Yeah, people just don't smoke.
It's bad for you.
Not anymore. I mean,
I agree.
Yeah,
This is no bueno.
yeah.
It's fun, but it's bad.
Yeah, by the way, I'm older than most people.
He's older than us, is what he's saying.
Yeah, I'm older. But back in the day, smoking was a thing.
That's what the cool kids did.
That's something that has to be a bullet point
Every time.
time.
Every
Yeah, every
time.
time.
Older
Every time.
than
Like,
you
Mike is
guys.
old.
So-
Darren's old. Dinkin is old.
It's like, come to me for the wisdom.
Mike
No.
It's like, I fucked up, so like, learn from me.
It's like, learn this shit.
Mike Dinkett
That's what
could
you
be a
call wisdom.
legitimate name right
Yeah.
there.
But so, getting on to the stories as the random.
Yeah.
Wait, are we rolling?
I haven't even thought about it.
Yeah,
Anyway.
we've been
Yeah, we've been
going-
rolling.
Oh,
man.
shit.
That's why I've been like asking you about like for your opinion on stuff. By the way, we talked about this poster that you got right beside you for like a little while on
Yeah,
the
you
podcast once, and it was hilarious. Can you give like a little bit of background to it?
Let me give a quick background on, like, in case people don't know what poster we're talking about. It's a big cardboard board that we talked about before that has Santa on it, the one that was made in, like, the 1920s. The Santa Coca-Cola made. And it has, like, Coca-Cola all over it. Don't sue us.
That's debatable.
Yeah, it has it one area.
No, Coca-Cola invented this image of Santa Claus.
No. What I mean, it's like Coca-Cola is not all over it. It's like, I mean, it's there, but it's not like.
We obviously taped it up for if we ever took pictures of it with Bros and Bruce, because I did a whole thing there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where'd you get it?
Yeah, just give us a little story on like where you got it, how it came to be.
So it was left over after said company. They have a plant out here, or just a facility, warehouse, whatever.
Wait, I want to
and,
see this Coca-Cola plant.
But so at the casino, they had this banquet dinner, a little Christmas event, and afterwards they're just like, "Yeah, you guys can have this." I wasn't a part of that event. I was in a different area at the time, but just somebody, supervisor or whatever, they're just like, "Yeah, if you guys want to take this, you can take it." And there was no first biters, so I was just like, "Yeah, I'll take it." I could use some more holiday decor, so
Hell yeah, dude.
had it ever since.
You know what's amazing?
People were looking at me as I was walking out of the employee exit with
Just
it.
like,
Just like, yeah,
he's
so
stealing
what?
it.
Oh, okay. So I've lived in this part of town for like when I was growing up, and I got pretty. I got used to the managers that used to work at the Circle K down the block.
Yeah.
So there was one day they had a promotion. I think it was when like the new Star Wars movies were coming out, but they had an R2-D2 little cooler, like the little round one,
Yeah.
where you could like lift open his head and everything. And I was just like, it was so cool. By the end of the so when the promotion ran out, like the dude like literally like kind of like wheeled it to the side and wheeled it to the back of the store, and I was like, hey man. It's like, can I take that? You have nothing in it. I was like, he's like, he's like, I mean, I guess, because I'm just gonna leave it in the back because it's no longer useful. I was like, cool. I took it home and my but my friends ended up trashing it, and like, they were like, like I went to school one day and then I just realized like my brother and some of my friends were like, hey, we all just like they kind of ditched that day, and they messed around with it, they destroyed it. Like 10 years later, the thing was like worth like $10,000. I was like, dude. What? Yeah. I was like, that's cool. It's like, it was one of those stupid little things. I was like,
we should like my brother trashed $10,000.
I was like, why would you do that?
Trashing memorabilia like that, I've just been like, you're not my friend anymore.
Like, we're done.
To be honest, I mean, I did some stupid shit to my brother's stuff too.
Oh my god!
Okay. I wasn't exactly an angel.
Yeah, I wasn't the greatest person either, but
monetary value, we probably equaled out damages.
Yeah, like damages. The damages were level,
even settled out of court.
Exactly. Plus, it's family. You can't really like be too mad because you understand why they do the shit they do.
Yeah, I get it. I've done it. Not that bad, but
I mean,
I've done something.
To be honest, like if you really think about it, it's a fucking cooler amongst a bunch of kids, and you just mess around with it, and you don't realize it has value.
I get it.
Yeah, so
I get it.
It didn't have value to me. It didn't have value to them, and I wasn't really too pissed off when it happened. I was just like, why wasn't I included with this fun?
Sure. I was like, R2-D2's ass.
I was like, you just destroyed something valuable, but you could have invited me to this.
Oh my gosh.
It's like, we could have all been a part of this.
All right, so let me jump into my story real quick.
Okay, yeah. Sorry.
Because we've been dancing around it for a second.
Riffing?
When I was in 3rd grade, this is around the time I met Derrick, actually. I used to live in teacher housings in where I used to live, Tuba City. And I used to like see things and sense things and whatnot when I was younger. I'm sure many people say that. But there was this one particular night where I was sleeping on my bed, and it was a bunk bed. Like, the bottom part was bigger and the top part was small. So my older brother had the top bunk. It was me and my little brother in the bigger bottom part. But I always slept on the edge so Taylor wouldn't, fall off. And I remember waking up one night, and I had no clue, like, why I woke up. I just knew I couldn't sleep. I was tossing and turning, and then I was looking up towards half of it was the roof, half of it was the top bunk. And then I remember sensing this feeling, and I had to look towards the door. And so I looked towards the door. And you guys know, like, the whole static that you see on the TV when, like, the old TVs when there was nothing on.
Yeah, and there was, like, interference.
It was just...
Yeah.
It was just static. I saw a figure of a human, of a person, that was static, but you could see through it, but at the same time there was also, like, maroon dots in there as well.
Yeah, normally those static is like black and white.
Mm-hmm, but there was also maroon dots in there. And I remember looking at it for like a good 10 minutes, and I couldn't do anything. When I looked at it, I was just frozen. I'm like, I'm looking at this thing. Like, what am I to do? Like, I'm not going to wake my little brother up. If he sees it, he's going to freak out. I have no clue what my older brother would do. So I just stared at it. And then I remember falling asleep just staring at it. And yeah, that's my quick story.
So your story is that you fell asleep in front of a staticky TV?
Sure. I mean, technically we didn't have a TV in the room, so I was just looking towards the door, and there was just that figure of like static standing there.
Oh, okay. So you weren't staring at a TV.
No.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
it wasn't a
Okay.
TV.
I was like, you like somewhere I got lost in that middle of that, and I was just like,
No,
goddamn.
I was trying to explain like what it looked like to me. Like, it wasn't exactly static, but it had the feeling of like static that I could see off of it.
Okay.
You know,
I
and
get
it
you.
also had maroon dots. I don't know why the maroon dots stick out to me, but they do.
Okay.
Maroon 5.
Yeah,
Maroon 5.
And she will be loved.
That's who does that song?
That's my favorite song by Maroon 5. Yeah, they do that. They do that song. Yeah,
That song
The
was
song's
in my head earlier today.
Songs about Jane. That's the album it's off of, by the way. But yeah, Derek, do you want to go?
Yeah, Derek.
Could I go
silence your
grab
phone.
it?
Please.
That was my phone.
Yeah, silence.
Oh,
it.
my bad. My bad. Yeah,
Dude,
I can
come
silence it. Let me
Free
just.
country, man.
Sorry. That.
You did it again.
I'm not. I didn't do it again.
Wow.
I'm just kidding. I'm not that angry. You'll know when I'm angry. You'll hear in my voice when I'm angry.
on.
Obviously, Derek knows this because he's like, we have a
Okay,
we have a
so
Let's Play that we did that I sounded angry at the end of it. Apparently, I mean, I got super drunk and wasted that I don't remember the end of the Let's Play.
Oh,
But
right.
I can imagine being mad at KFC for being the douche that he is.
Just dress KFC as a
Colonel,
male.
the Colonel.
Okay, I need to go grab another drink
the deuce?
first.
What? Like, are you making us take a break right now?
like it's so early in the podcast. Okay, so maybe I'll.
30 seconds.
How fast did you down that fucking tall boy?
Bro.
I mean, no judgment, but like, excuse me.
Anyway, so I guess I'll tell one of my scary stories. I'm pretty sure I've mentioned this story before, just not on the podcast. So the whole idea of it is I used.
I'll take one.
I'll take one.
Oh, you guys have
You only brought two though.
Oh wait, I'll have some more of this scotch then. You guys can pick what
Some
you want.
scooch.
I've had the Latitude 33 before. I'll take the other one.
Okay.
I mean, I guess I'll take the other.
It takes 30 seconds. Do you really have to do a break?
No, not at all.
That was a big kid.
No, I was starting on my story.
Oh, that was a little goof right there.
Yeah.
No, well,
Yes.
Dang goofed you.
So,
Continue.
a little bit of a backstory to this before I started, I guess, is that I used to work overnight at a gas station while going to school, and one of the things that you do at the beginning of the night before the like the shift change is that you restock the alcohol and you restock the coolers, and you just like for an hour you restock, and then you start like doing your nighttime stuff.
Sure.
So I had a few of my coworkers there still, so because obviously I'm restocking the store. So I just start restocking, and like one of the things they teach you is that when you're restocking the alcohol, make sure you keep an eye on the people that are at the alcohol aisle. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I start restocking the alcohol, and I'm just watching the people that are grabbing alcohol, and I recognize a lady that comes in fairly regularly, and she's getting her normal thing. She's doing what she normally does in the store, which is like grab her refill cup of soda. She like gets her stupid little thing, gets her drink, her hot dog, and then she starts going to that's what she normally does. She gets a drink, she gets the hot dog, she goes to the register, she pays for both, she leaves.
What was the money ghost like?
No. She's no. The money our drawer, my register was never off, and like other people's register wasn't really off. And the weird thing is that there was always footage of her on camera all the time. Like, it's weird. And this one time that she came in, I asked the manager the next morning to pull up the cameras of when she came in. Every camera she went by in that morning went fuzzy before she ever came into the camera frame.
Yeah.
So, and I obviously that's all after like that's all after the entire incident happened. But like when
You never told us about the incident.
No, I haven't yet because you literally started asking me questions about other shit.
Sure, but like I'm confused now. Like, what part of the story are we at?
So this is the part of the story this is the weird part. I see her come in. She starts doing her normal thing. She starts filling up her cup and getting her soda, and then I wait for her to like turn around and start getting the start making the hot dog she normally makes. So she's filling up the soda. As she's like filling up the soda, I feel like and I thought this was like me being like super deprived of sleep at the time, because like obviously I'm doing overnights at a gas station and then I'm going to school in the morning. So I'm literally like, I'm probably just sleep deprived and my vision's going a little blurry. But when I see it, nothing in the entire gas station is going blurry at all. It's only her, and she just literally starts like going blurry the entire time. And I literally start like, I rub one eye at a time while trying to keep an eye on her, and she's the only thing going blurry. And I'm like, I rub one eye, I keep an eye on her, and then I rub the other eye, and I still keep an eye on her, but she's still the only thing that's blurry in the store. Yeah. Everything else comes in clear. The alcohol that's literally in front of me, clear. The hot dog, the fountain drink stations she's at, everything fine. Her, nothing at all. She's literally starting to phase out of existence, and this happens within like 10 seconds. And I'm shocked. I am so dumbfounded that I literally I am like a little freaked out to myself that I'm literally just standing there watching it, and I'm like shook. Which doesn't happen too much with me. It doesn't.
I've never heard him say he was shook.
Yeah, to be honest,
just a thing. Like, I've never heard him say these words out loud.
Yeah, to be honest, there's not too many points in my life that I can say that I was like completely afraid of something, and I was like, that right there was scaring the living Christ out of me, because I was like, holy crap, this thing is like disappearing literally in front of my eyes. And then I run to the front of the registers, and I like to where the registers are, and I asked the two people, because this lady obviously had to pass the front counter, which is where the other two people were, and I was like, did you just see that? She just disappeared. I was like freaking out for like a good hour the entire time, and I was like sitting on camera, and I was like, what the fuck is going like I was like, I completely ignored my job that one day, and I was just like, what happened? And I was like, and I was trying to ask,
this lady disappeared,
and I was trying to ask my two coworkers the entire time. I was like, are you sure? And it became this entire thing where like, and then they left, obviously, because that's the end of their shift, and I'm the only one there, and I'm the guy, and I'm the overnight guy, and I'm supposed to be there by myself for another 7 hours. And I was like, God damn. Not only that, but there was a lot of stuff I used to have to do in the back of the convenience store, and like a lot of that stuff wasn't lit. Like the back of the gas station wasn't lit. I had to like, obviously I went to go like change all the stuff out when nobody was in the store and stuff like that. Yeah. And I had to clean, and I always hear like weird noises and everything, but like that's just part of the job. But there's such a creepiness to it when you have to like, when you're forced to go out into the darkness and just be like, shit, okay, just ignore all the creepy sounds and come back in. Yeah. Which is pretty funny. Like that's the only time I've ever felt like true fear in my heart. Which is crazy. Damn. But that's my story.
Sure. That's a good story. Do you have a story, Derrick? By the way, we already gathered Derrick's scary story for October.
Yeah, so we're just asking for like a small different one.
A small different one. I'm sure he's had more than one. He's native. He's been on the res. Every res person has a story.
Didn't I already tell a story one time?
You did.
That's exactly what we're saying.
Yeah.
But, this is a small one for this podcast.
We're just asking you to do a scary story right now because we're...
So does it have to be by my account, or could it be...
you can tell any scary story at this point.
Just do any
It doesn't have to
story.
be yours.
Yeah.
So could I make it up?
Do it.
I mean,
won't.
if you start talking about like rock bottom and stuff like that, that's just weird.
It's advanced darkness.
Advanced darkness.
I thought you were talking about the other type of bottom.
No, that's
Sorry.
I mean,
Okay.
no, just
Okay, fine.
no, just go with
so
any scary story
I
you
got
know. Really,
something then.
Do you? Cool.
From a friend,
A friend's friend?
a close friend,
friend of a friend.
a close friend,
Okay, we'll go with that.
and was not aware of this till he finally told it.
That was my burp. That's how I burp.
That's what it does. Yeah.
It's starting to catch on now. It's like it's definitely a mic thing.
It is. Because when people don't dink it, that's how I burp. It's like, blah, blah, blah. I mean, if you don't like some people burp the ABCs. I just like, I like to muffle it with weird audible noises.
Hell yeah.
It's hilarious.
Oh, I used to be able to do burps just back to back. But I think I don't have enough carbonation. But so this friend, this just happened back in high school for him because so his dad. Oh, do you need to take that?
Maybe.
Is it the drinks?
No, I don't. Maybe. Hold
Should we take
Maybe
a
he's gonna
pause?
be like, I see someone outside.
Hi.
What's that? Wait, tell him I'm waving at the window.
Oh, you're, my friend's waving. I'll come outside.
By the way, our extra drinks came in. I think. Probably.
That felt way more scary right there.
Did it?
Just imagine you waving at some random person and then just gunshots go off.
Like,
Sorry, man. We're living in crazy times right now.
are we? No, I don't know if it's that crazy.
Well, for a brief moment, people shooting one another for quote unquote necessities.
Toilet paper?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for the beer, Derek.
Oh, yeah, no problem. I figured that if I'm gonna have some of your guys' hooch, I might as well share something too.
You also do a stream, right?
A stream?
You used to stream, right?
I streamed like once or twice, like a couple years ago.
Do you not
No,
stream anymore?
I do the Let's Play stuff, but been kind of taking a break from that because, you know, stuff's going pretty cray-cray, I guess, down in the valley, and that's where my buddy that's been helping out with the editing. So I don't know how he's doing right now, but been kind of taking a break. Otherwise, I could just publish it myself. But yeah, there's a bit of a Let's Play series that's been going on more or less. But yeah, so is everything okay?
Huh?
It's perfect.
Perfect. Yeah, they actually just had to grab my ID.
What's in the bag?
What's in the bag?
Oh, they
What's in the box?
like what would that's
You know
the
what's
one
amazing?
thing that I don't get about like the whole alcohol delivery is like shouldn't because it's through like technically a food delivery, it's a little bit different, I guess, till they implement that in like an app update.
Well, from what I understand is that alcohol delivery in general is illegal, but they suspended that entire. Well, they amended that to since quarantine happened. They amended it so that you could actually like allow people to take alcohol away from a business and like for an alcohol to be like to go.
Yeah, which is odd because, you know, there was a whole point in America's history where they didn't allow you to have alcohol at all. But now they allow it delivered to you. Imagine telling that to somebody back in the day when Prohibition was a thing.
Yeah, and there's like
so, oh, you guys had it illegal? We get it delivered to us now.
It's like
what?
it's like now I just got to call somebody. But no, like I think Postmates going about it in a good way is that they're literally having the well, that's why it took so long. Is that the person that delivered it had to scan my ID. That's why it took a little long.
They had to scan it.
Yeah, they had to.
Like,
yeah, they literally had to take a full scan of my ID to make sure it was legit.
Nice.
So
Cool. We're not
that's
sponsored
good.
by Postmates, by the way.
We're not, but I mean, if you're gonna do it, that's the way to do it.
That's the way to do it. Continue with the story. Where did we leave off? I apologize for that whole kerfuffle of us getting our.
How dare you call me a kerfuffle?
Yeah, you want to look at
fuck
the
is that?
window
I'm just kidding.
multiple times? Gunshot.
You can turn off the light. You can turn off the light now.
Did you just call me a fuffle?
A huffle puffle?
I take insult to that.
I called you a car fuffle.
Not a kerfuffle, a car fuffle. Is kidding.
Car fuffle. Anyways,
A duffel bag?
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt your story. I didn't even hear most of it.
Duffel bag, boys. So, should I just restart it then?
yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
restart it. That way we
restart.
can
close friend of mine in high school, his father, I'm not sure if he still has these night terrors, but I guess it's been going on for some time. Well, at least rewinding back to high school. So
Sure.
high school student, close friend of mine. Back then, I'm not saying I'm good friends with a high school student right now, but
Sure. Is he still a high school student?
Yeah. Well, we were high school students back then, but
Together.
so I guess one night his dad was having a real bad episode. He, night sweats. There's shaking in the bed, and then he started, yelling, screaming at the top of his lungs because he woke up while that was happening. His room's at the time it was across from his parents' room, but both doors were closed. So he heard him, and then just out of curiosity, he just happened to look out the window. I guess I don't know how he interpreted it as far as his hearing went, but something drew him to go towards the window. Or unless I'm remembering it a little bit wrong. But maybe he was taking a look around. But anyway, there's windows, second floor of their apartment, and he just so happened to gaze down to their front door, porch area, and he noticed that there's just this person, complete stranger, that was just standing right in front of their door. They didn't bother to open the glass door or ring the doorbell or anything. They were just standing there, just sort of menacing and then he was thinking maybe, because with the Native American culture there's a whole spiritual side and witchcraft and such, so maybe connect two and two, thinking maybe it's possible that this person was wishing some sort of ill will onto his father while he was sleeping.
Like a curse?
Maybe, but that's just where he left it off. Just one night, some random stranger, they didn't have their front door light. It wasn't illuminated at all, but you could just make out this person just standing right in front of their door.
From the night sky, or from
probably from the nearby, because it was an apartment area.
So there was street lights.
No streetlights in the area, but probably just off in the distance, some sort of luminance.
In the
otherwise, just the moon itself.
No, to be honest, on the reservation, it seems like it would be pitch black out there, but the moonlight and the starlight does resonate very well out there. So much so that you there are some nights you don't even need a flashlight. You can just literally go by the moonlight. Mm-hmm. There's such pitch blackness that everything around you is so well lit by the moon,
Or the stars.
and it's crazy. Yeah, and to be honest, if the moon's not there, it's it's weird because that's when you have a truly pitch black night.
There's some nights when
You could see
the moon
more.
is slightly out, but it's super black. But there are times when the moon's not there at all, and I could see perfectly fine.
Yeah, that. I mean, that always weirded me out when I was a kid too. Your eyes adjust so well to the blackness that you could literally see you could see the hills, you could see the trees, you could see everything in the dark, and it was just what the hell? It's my eyes can adjust to this level. I never thought about it in that way when I was a kid. I just always understood oh yeah, well sometimes it's pitch black or the other.
Well, that's the
sometimes
thing
it's-
about the res, though. Sometimes, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just wanted to wrap it up and just say,
Okay,
like, yeah,
sorry. Yeah, we
spiritual mysticism, Native American culture. I totally believe in the whole witchcraft aspect, and as well as there's other other cultures that also some of them practice that. But yeah, I believe in it. It's
I
real.
don't. Do you know what it's called in Navajo at all? Like the idea of witchcraft. I mean, that's like a pagan term, isn't it?
Being cursed, kind of, is like gudgy.
Yeah,
That's the
'cause
only term that I could think of, really.
Yeah,
being
'cause, like-
cursed is like someone gudgy to you.
Yeah.
But,
Like, well, in
how do you say it in Hopi? Which is what I'm sure is where you.
yeah, that's what I was kind of getting at. Is well, it's kind of like a term that has multiple meanings. It's like it's very ambiguous. That it's a wuya.
Well, you know, most languages.
Yeah,
Currently like that. Yeah.
yeah, like you call it a wuya. It's something it's a entity that you can't see, and it's not necessarily something that's bad, but it's also one of those things that it's obviously an effect on your life that is not seen.
Yeah. No, I get that.
But a lot of times, a lot of people use it for terms of like supernatural things that happen.
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense.
Oh, sorry. I would make it seem like I was laughing at your explanation, but I just remembered that one camping trip that we took.
Which one? We've
Out
taken quite
in
a few.
the Utah one, Torrey, Utah.
Torrey, Utah? Sure.
And I was in a scary story mood, and then you guys were saying like, "Oh, we smell something putrid in the air. Something's dying."
There was, though. Like, I've smelt it before.
You guys were the only ones that could smell it. I could just smell the campfire.
It was down the hill. Like, we walked down the hill for a second, and we're like, oh, we smell it here. Let's go away from that.
Maybe I'm going to reiterate this again.
No.
Some dude was probably airing out his drawers, and some butt flakes happened to drift that far down.
What we smelt. But, you know, you talk about it, and, you know,
And things can
this is what they
happen.
say.
You invite that energy.
When you talk about it, it comes towards you. It
So
knows you're talking
would
about
it be better if we turn off the lights now?
We could. We could just have the light of the TV right there.
Yeah,
Which
do
is
it. Turn
fine.
off the light. The right light's behind you.
I mean,
turn that off.
We're about
Well, I
to
thought
talk
this
about
was just
I
a
already turned off
random.
this light.
Wasn't this just the random segment though?
I
This
mean,
was
but
a
we're,
random
but
segment.
but the entire thing is about horror.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, it's about horror
the entire
movies.
podcast
The
is about horror.
I need another drink.
I mean, there's like 4 of them in front of you. That's what I bought.
It's horror. I've had that beer plenty of times, so maybe not right now.
Okay, well, that's my next beer because I enjoy it. That is one of my main things. It's like, to be honest, I do enjoy, not sponsored, but Mother Road. I do enjoy all their beers.
Mother Road is actually my favorite brewery in town.
I don't know how that turned back on.
I turned it on.
Oh, I was like, I thought I turned it off.
Sure. So, what do you want to start with? TV shows? We go with TV shows, right?
TV shows, scary TV shows. God damn. Okay.
You don't
Cool.
Okay, so we don't have to like name one each. We could just talk about scary TV shows. First
Okay.
one that comes to mind is American Horror Story.
Of course.
I mean, of course, it has horror in the name.
No, no.
That's why.
No, the
American
one that
horror.
comes like I thought you were gonna say this first. It was like literally the
Goosebumps?
Twilight
no,
Zone?
the Sci-Fi Channel one, the actual like paranormal activity like shit that was going on, where they went to like abandoned abandoned medical things and
Ghost
psychiat-
guys.
Yeah,
what are they called?
Ghost hunters or some
Ghost
shit like that.
Hunters. I think it was called Ghost Hunters. Ghost
Oh, I hate that
Facers.
show.
Oh God.
Sorry,
I didn't want, dude. Supernatural's great, but it's not scary stories.
Yeah, it is.
I mean,
technically,
technically they're going off lore, but and I love that the fact that they go into like local legend on a lot of their stories, but none of it's scary.
Local.
It's all action and it's a lot of drama.
sure, but you know, like
it's action drama, and it's like
Supernatural's a good horror one. Though,
I mean,
at the same time, like when it first started out, it was more about the horror than it was like anything else. Then as like it progressed, it got more about the drama.
Yeah. Fair. That is fair. I mean, it was like the. To me, it is a very good.
Rock and roll legends.
To me, it's one of those.
They can hear you really well when you do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I did that.
Okay.
But anyway, I really enjoy that series, but I don't think of it as scary at all.
Well, not anymore.
Ever.
Okay, well,
I have
to each their own.
Yeah.
I feel like it started out as a horror series. You know,
I've never seen the show, so sorry.
Derrick has nothing yet. So American Horror Story. Let's go back to the first one I mentioned.
I've only seen the
You ever
first
watched
season.
American Horror Story?
I watched the first season and I never continued it.
Sure.
Same boat.
I think the first season was probably one of the best seasons American Horror Story put out.
Agreed.
Yeah, sexy
I agree.
ghosts, man.
And
But at the same time,
Sexy old maid lady.
But at the same time, with
to be honest, that's one of the draws of like of horror is that all horror is not like, hey, I gotta scare you immediately. It's got to be enticing. It's got to draw you in at some point.
it's got to have the suspense.
Yes.
And
You know,
sex.
like I did a whole motion there, but you know what I mean. It's like,
Yeah.
It's like, oh,
It's like
it got me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
procreation.
it's kind of that. It's kind of the what do you call it? The Jack in the Box feeling, where you like it's that. It's like it's good. Yeah,
Friday
It's like you see the tension building, and then it's like fuck. It's like
It's like, didn't go
it's
yet.
like,
Like,
"Oh."
when is it gonna go off? But
Yeah.
definitely. I get that.
Definitely, maybe.
And one of the no, okay, that's my thing.
Oh, sorry. Oh, are we rolling?
We are.
But I want to express because I've seen majority of American Horror Story. I've seen
Really?
6 seasons. Out of the 8, there's 8. There's 8.
No idea.
But I honestly think the first one's the best, only because it did that. It had the right amount of suspense until and they always do this. They have the really good amount of suspense until the third act, and then it just goes off the rails, where they try to explain everything. And I don't think they should try to explain everything. I really don't.
Yeah, to be honest, like when they started getting like, that's why I kind of saw the series going in that direction after the first one. Kind of like how The Purge was like, you kind of saw it turning into this whole like
Never seen it.
thing.
yeah, this whole
Yeah, I've never seen
political
The
thing,
Purge.
like political thing, and like also a thing where it's like, oh yeah, revolution. It's like, okay, cool.
Which is
It's like
a political thing, by the way.
Yeah, but I mean it is.
V for Vendetta.
It's mad political, but like
Guy Fawkes.
the idea behind it is like you can't see that, you can't see it coming.
You can't fix something that's you can't
see it.
fix something that's
Like-
constantly broken.
No,
A small thing.
no. What I mean, no, but like no. In the idea of like horror stories is like you can't see it coming. It's like if you just see it coming, it's not scary.
Sure, no, I get that. Yeah, but like with American Horror Story, like they did it really well for the first 3/4 of the show, right? Like the first season, like it was building up suspense. They had the Piggy Man, which is like probably one of my favorite parts, where it wasn't actually
Poking a condom in the. Oh,
which it
never
wasn't
mind.
actually a ghost,
Yeah.
And
But
he's like, he was calling me fat. Obviously, this is spoiler alert. If you haven't seen the first season of American Horror Story, I don't expect you to see it at all, because
I mean, it's a
at
great,
this
it's a good
point.
series. Yeah, it's a
like,
good series.
What
A
else
lot of
are you
people
gonna
love
do
it.
right now. They have time to watch it.
So yeah, it was like the dude from Modern Family was like piggy in the mirror or whatever the fuck he said, and then he just gets killed by a robber because the robber thought he was calling him fat, and I'm like, that was one of the most perfect scenes of horror I've ever seen.
Ah, okay.
Because it's what you expected, but at the same time it wasn't. Oh,
Well, okay,
you just said bullshit?
okay. No.
I said,
okay.
oh shit.
Okay, sorry.
So, like-
I apologize.
Okay, so you expected a reaction, just not something.
Like you expect the Piggy Man to come out.
No, okay, no. What
It
I mean,
wasn't him, but he still. You obviously expect something to happen. Something happened, but not the way you expected.
no, like okay, yeah, that's what I was trying to get at, is that you expected something to happen, and like you're expecting something dramatic, and it's not the thing you're thinking of.
Like it was still dramatic.
Yeah, it was still super dramatic. It was just not the thing you were thinking of.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
it caught you off guard.
Exactly, and that's what.
And that is scary, too.
That's what that scene did, and I was like, that was a good fucking scene. Like I remember watching it, and I'm like, holy fuck, you did it right.
And I think, okay, so I think the thing that people can compare this to is like everybody's scared of their mom, especially when your mom's pissed off. And when your mom's pissed off, you know something bad's gonna happen. You just don't know what. But that's also one of those things. It's like
we don't have to go into any more detail with any of our stories about our moms being scary.
yeah, but that's as deep.
the thing.
That's as deep as you need to go, to be honest.
Yeah, that's the thing. I agree. What were the other What were the other TV shows we mentioned?
You mentioned American Horror Story. I will probably. Oh, yeah. Obviously, the scary encounters kind of stuff, like the stuff that was on the Sci-Fi Channel, like Ghost Stories.
Lost tapes.
The people looking into like, oh, we're gonna like really find ghosts and prove
Oh
it's
yeah,
right. So we can
ghost
get the,
hunters or whatever.
Yeah, ghost
Yeah,
hunters.
yeah.
And you know the thing about these shows that I hate so much
Is the editing.
is that they get scared.
Did you hear that? Did you hear that?
No. Like, okay, not just scared, but like overly scared. You
But
know,
it was like, okay.
they should keep composure, even if they think it's real. They should know that they need to keep composure to stay alive.
Okay, no. This is the thing that was scary. Well, I think this is what the before a lot of things happened. This is a show that was obviously airing way before like the internet, which was hilarious. But like that's where you get like a lot of your like. And I think it's like exposure therapy for the internet. It's like the internet exposes you to a lot of different things. This was one of those TV things that was like it was kind of like a one of a kind thing at the time that it was running. Obviously not with the guy that was from Vegas who literally just took his buddies out on a bunch of road trips to like the fucking like these other things that was like overhyping the entire thing.
Yeah.
It was literally like it was a group of actual scientists who was like literally taking out like EMF meters and like doing like white noise testing and doing static testing as well.
No, yeah,
and
yeah.
they were like doing a lot of other testing, and it wasn't just a bunch of like a group of like fucking ex bouncers that were out in the area, just like fucking like going, oh, this is scary. It feels cold.
Bunch
It's
of
like no, it was like, but no, it was like it was
Why is it
also
so hot in this room?
yeah, no, it was also like it wasn't just a bunch of like quote unquote frat boys out in the
Yeah,
field doing some
jabronis, man.
yeah, it wasn't just a bunch of frat boys out in the field doing some stuff. It was actual like legit scientists going out into the field taking tests, like collecting data, and you got to see that data. And like before that happened, it was literally just people who were actually in the field of science,
Yeah.
like collecting data in the field. I mean, I don't know what you guys know about like computers, but like computers were literally designed to read if there was something in the afterlife. Which is weird.
I know nothing about that.
Which is weird. Like literally computers were designed to see if we had like the entire fundamental like well, obviously not the idea of the binary code wasn't like to like see if there was something in the afterlife.
Sorry,
but like
bro.
people started like developing the idea of like creating operating systems to see if there was to start testing if there was something in beyond what we were right now.
Oh yeah, there's a whole app to that, man.
Computers were designed.
Given that app is trash, but it was like, oh, is there ghosts in your area? And then you just like scan the area, and it's like, oh, there's a ghost right there. It's like
Computers were
fucking
designed so I could play Call of Duty, bro.
Bro, they were designed so you can get emojis out quicker. What are you talking about?
Oh, I love that movie. Guys,
obviously,
are
like we need
recommendations.
Have you guys ever seen the Emoji Movie?
No.
It's actually pretty decent.
Oh my god, I'm done now.
the Emoji Movie. Guys.
I'm
Fucking
off this
outta
podcast.
here.
But yeah, no,
I need
the
two
Emoji
more
Movie
of
is
these.
not half bad.
I don't know if we were doing shows or movies, but like that was
We're on shows.
Okay, so Derrick, do you got one?
TV show horror.
Horror.
No, not really. I guess I'd just go with like the Encounters one. Actually, one that I do remember. I'm not sure how real it was.
I mean, it
was
doesn't
from,
have to
like,
be
the
real. It just got to be like
90s.
something that provokes fear.
From the 90s, it was MTV did this show. It was called Fear.
Fear Factor?
No, just Fear.
Okay.
Was it the one with
I don't know.
And if
before
the-
Tracy Morgan?
The people that so they had these young people go through. Occasionally, they'd have them paired up as a duo team, but if they managed to make it through this supposed like haunted location, and they made it all the way through because there was like a whole set time limit for them to like investigate. Like they got the whole background story of like why
I think I remember that.
why
They
the
had-
places are haunted. And if they made it all the way through, then they got like a cash prize at the
Yeah,
end.
I think I remember
Cash
that.
money.
Like they used to have them like do like these stupid challenges where
Yeah, there would
where
be
they had
stuff
to
like
like
that.
investigate why the property was like quote unquote haunted.
Yeah, I think for one thing, I think one of the challenges had to do with like a swimming pool. I was just
Yeah,
like,
and they had to,
fuck
like-
that shit.
Yeah. No, there was like sometimes they were like literally they were like, "Oh yeah, well now you're going to I think like always if it like came to like a group that was like really suspicious, they would always have them do like, "Hey, well you're going to perform this séance now."
Yeah,
And there's only like a few times I've ever seen them like
yeah,
actually
that's
do
how
the-
it
So we brought
was.
this
Yeah.
Ouija board.
Yeah, no, that was always one of the challenges too. Like if it was one of the like non-believers, they'll be like, "Oh yeah, well you both are skeptical. Play this Ouija board."
So you know my friend Ian, right? The elite scrub. We had him like a couple episodes back, but he always said that he would never do a Ouija board.
Really?
Yeah, like he always expressed that if anyone ever in his town like he found out used the Ouija board, he'd move out of that town immediately. Most obviously here where we live.
To be
in.
honest, don't tell them I've used the Ouija board a few times.
Oh shit!
Yes.
In this town.
Yes. So don't tell them.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No. He's already moving away at some point.
Okay.
So,
Well,
which is why I had to get him on the podcast. He was like, when I mentioned, he's like, "Oh, you got to be on this podcast." Okay, cool, for sure. I'll be on there before I leave. And I didn't believe him. And then I was like, I got to go steal him up. Anyways,
yeah,
sorry
that was our GTA mission.
sorry to detract from the whole thing. But
GTA mission.
respect.
Got them respect points.
Homie respect. Plus money.
We've done that.
Plus skills.
Anyways,
plus
I mean, definitely
rated
plus skills.
plus rated adult after hot coffee.
It was like +2 intelligence and like what? 1+1 spirit. It's kidding.
Why would you want that when you got plus homie respect?
homies.
I mean, gang.
Homies over here.
Anyway, so
Anyway,
we
that
should
was
move on.
just to wrap up the TV shows.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
should,
we
move on.
should wrap up,
to anime.
No, I think movies. Movies is like
Anime?
good. Movies.
Oh, TV to movies is a little too close.
That's what I mean. It's like it's a good offshoot. Like it's
Sure.
got something fresh in our mind.
Sure.
What's-
Okay. There's so many good horror movies though.
What's a good one to you? How about that?
Yeah, Move
Like
baby.
what's one that stands out to you? Or
So first thing you got to know about me about horror movies
horror?
is that they have to have a good story. If they don't
Always.
if they don't have a good story, and I'm not like hooked on like what happened, why did it happen, where's this going on, all this stuff. Like even if I don't know that, and you have a good story going on in the background, like you got a good monologue going on between him and like whatever's going on. Like I have to have a good story with my horror movies. We just watched one which is called Doctor Sleep, which is a continuation from The Shining.
The Shining.
And I thought it was fucking great. I thought it was a good one.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
what you guys
story.
were watching.
Amazing story.
Story was fucking amazing. So Doctor Sleep is up there.
With Ewan McGregor?
Ewan McGregor, yeah.
Ewan.
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Oh God, he had such good Jedi Force power in that. Goddamn.
But
Metachlorian high account
to step
on that.
away to step away from what we were talking, like from what we've seen tonight. I have to say the Conjuring movie / the series of The Conjuring, or anything done by Jim Wan. Not Jim Wan. What the fuck is his name? Something Wan.
I don't remember.
I know who you're talking about. I just don't remember.
The director guy
For that, yeah.
He also,
James?
James Wan. Is it James Wan?
I think it was.
Like
His direction.
He also did a what the fuck's it called? The kid who could like project himself across space and time.
Ender's Game?
No, dude. When he said that, I was thinking that. That's weird that you like. That's weird that you said that. But that wasn't a thing. Like that. Ender's Game was about like him coming up with strategy for a military that they were actually acting out.
Sure. But what the fuck's that movie called?
Projecting themselves?
Insidious.
Oh.
It's got the
okay,
violins
yeah.
and shit.
Okay, yeah.
Oh my gosh, the way he put the
The first Insidious was like scary up until like the end.
Right. Like the beginning of it, like there was nothing there, and then it just like slowly pans forward. Like he is like one of the masters of suspense.
Yeah.
I swear. It just like moves in, and like it just gets louder and louder, and it's like. It's got the violins fucking going, like cam and shit, and then like it shows the lady with her face, and spoiler alert, you find out it's not a lady.
Yeah, definitely.
It's something else. But anyways,
Oh.
yeah, that whole beginning scene got me. I'm like, this is gonna be a great fucking horror film. That's gonna be a fucking great horror film.
You know the part that got me in that one? Is,
there's so many parts that got me.
Dude, there were so many.
There's so many parts. Like,
So many parts.
She's sitting down at the bottom and she starts hearing shit in like the baby monitor, and then she starts yelling in the baby monitor. She's like, and then the violins go again, like, and then she runs up the stairs and
and then
God.
he sees it. Yeah.
it's fucking great.
Oh God.
It's the first city is such a great one.
I never
Yeah.
finished that movie.
Really?
No, we watched half of it. How could you only watch half of it?
The Conjuring was enough for me.
No, The Conjuring,
Conjuring's great.
no,
I saw that one in theaters.
Like-
I'm not big on horror.
No.
Okay.
He's
So
not.
But- I think this is a good segue into like Derrick's movie.
Sure.
What's some good? What do you think is your good ones?
I would probably pick that clown one wasn't half bad. I forgot what it was called. No, not it. It was
it just called Clown? What was it called?
I don't know. The one where the dude he puts on the costume that he
and he can't take it
finds.
off.
Yeah, he can't take it off. Cause he puts it on like for his son's birthday. Cause
that was done by Elon Musk.
could
not,
we
not the guy. It
could
was,
we count?
he did the green. The what is that fucking movie called where they go to the South America and save everybody?
Eli Roth did that.
Yeah, Eli Roth. That was done by Eli Roth.
Are you sure he did?
Yeah,
that one?
yeah. More than certain that because we watched that movie together.
Yeah, and then I watched the Green. Could the Green Inferno be considered horror?
Yeah, dude. Most definitely.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought that was
There's
just...
different types of horror in this movie, dude. Like there's sci-fi horror, there's cosmic horror, there's
the
ghost
survival horror?
there's survival horror,
Zombie.
There's so many options on this table right now.
the
Yeah.
Human
The
Centipede.
Human Centipede is most definitely horror.
Okay.
That's body horror right there.
That just makes me hungry when I watch that movie. But yeah, okay. So
Yeah,
I'll
but
just...
you like we're thinking we're trying to like
Okay,
get like your
I'll-
opinion of like what was actually scary to you.
I'll
No,
stick with
he was talking about
the
it.
clown one.
The
Then the
Eli
clown
Roth. I think
one.
it's what is it called?
I don't know. It's just called like clown.
Is
I
it
guess.
called Clown?
Yeah.
It's just called Clown. I feel like it's just called Clown.
Yeah, that one was pretty good. Like
That
To
one
be
was-
honest,
that was pretty
I don't
good.
think I've ever seen it.
especially
You don't
there's
have
this.
to, man. I mean, you should. Like,
I mean, I should. Yeah.
If you're a fan of horror,
I am.
That's a magnificent masterpiece, my guy.
Because
Same with Green Inferno. Green Inferno, like, as much as I watched of it,
Yeah, I'm learning stuff right now.
I don't mean to like speak over you, Derek, but yes, that shit gets me.
I'm a fan of Eli Roth.
Eli Roth. He was the guy. He was the Bear Jew
Yeah.
in
Yeah, and
Glorious Bastards.
Okay.
That's Eli Roth. In case you don't know how he looks like, guys.
No, actually, he wasn't the bear. Or wait, yeah, he was. Never mind. I was thinking
Yeah,
the
he
other
was.
dude.
I was like,
Yeah.
what are you talking about? He was. That's totally him.
I haven't
You
seen.
can see the darkness in his eyes. I never saw any of his pupils.
Bro.
There's black in his eyes. Like, my guy, like, he knows horror. I'm sorry, like,
Horror.
this is. I'm a big fan of this genre, and I'm so glad we're doing it tonight.
Good call. Definitely good call. So, but that's one of the movies.
Yeah.
Guy. Can you say
sorry.
Can you say the premise again? Because like Ryan was going off way too much on
I'm
like
sorry.
something
So-
else.
do it.
Sorry.
Dude finds this really old clown costume, and he does the makeup as
At
well.
the thrift store. At a thrift store, he buys it.
Yeah,
Okay.
and like
For his
this
son's
really
birthday
like
party.
old like Victorian kind of like chest. He picks it out. He puts it on for his kid's birthday because like clown last minute. Whoever they hired for the birthday backed out, so then he didn't want to leave his son disappointed. And then at the end of the whole day, like he realizes that there's something off about this, like this whole like
Clown
evil
costume?
presence just involved with the fabric and everything about it. And then that's basically all I can say about it.
Well, you could say more about it.
He
the thing
slowly
about it is
he can't take it off.
he can't
Basically,
take off the costume.
it starts to
including
peel off
the
his
nose.
skin. Yeah,
Like when he took off the,
yeah,
it tore his skin when he tried taking it off.
yeah.
Okay.
It's molded to him, basically.
And there's
Okay.
there's a whole thing behind it. You got to watch it. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's not
Okay.
bad.
So, as a fan of horror movies, I have a lot that I could speak upon. The ones,
Nightmare on Elm Street.
to be honest, the ones that stand out to me the most, I'll just list a few of them. The original Exorcist, which was amazing.
Still
I
haven't
believe,
seen it. You got to show me.
Like, I believe that to be one of the scariest movies ever.
As most people do.
It was it not. To be honest, it was one of the most like it is rated one of the scariest movies ever. Not just because it was it was horrifying, but like it was created so long ago, and people just keep recreating it, and it's like they keep trying to recapture that original horror, and they can't.
One of the things I actually heard about it was that not only was the story like compelling and everything that was going on always had something significant happening to the next part,
Yeah,
but in the background there was always images of scary things.
yeah, that's
And that's one of the things that kept going in people's mind, like, oh, this is a scary movie, and like as it's panning, like it's so trivial to look at the background, but in the background there's always something scary.
yeah. There's always something that freaks you out a little more in the background, and that there was also like. Obviously, like I grew up a little bit before everybody else. There was The Omen. The Omen was amazing.
I've actually seen them.
Like the original Omen. That was
I've
yeah.
seen-
The original Omen. The original Amityville.
Blair Witch Project.
That didn't actually scare me. That was just annoying to me. Like that.
Sorry.
That was never like the funny thing is that the Blair Witch Project never scared me when it came out. And neither did the original, what do you call it, Paranormal Activity. I actually laughed through most of that movie because I was like, I could see all the effects you're doing. But like I was one of the, like, and that was like one of those things where it's like Paranormal Activity was like such a big cult thing that it was like everybody at the time was like, this is the scariest movie ever. And I was like the first time I went to go see it, I laughed through like a good like 75% of the movie because I could just see the effects.
I actually watched the Paranormal Activity in theaters as well, but I watched it by myself. And I was younger than 17, which was really hard to get into theaters under 17 when it was rated R. But like my uncle bought me the ticket, and he's like, "Hey, have fun, and he knew I wasn't gonna get scared. Like when I was younger, I was a scaredy cat. Like, I still am.
Just got
you know,
freaked out.
I just hide it better.
Your voice changed a little bit.
I mean, ooh.
A little bit. It's creeping on me.
But, you know, I remember watching Paranormal Activity in theaters.
Oh, is it because you're getting?
It did freak me out.
Okay.
Is it because you're getting
the most scary
scared?
parts are the parts where you don't see anything happening and you just hear the noise. And you know, like I always knew that in movies, like the audio is the most important part of the film.
Kinda.
Like
I mean, it's also imagery.
I mean, obviously there's images, but having the
Having both is great.
yes,
But like obviously like what do you call it? I think this is where like this is the next part that like I think this will illustrate more what you're trying to talk about is like The Conjuring. The Conjuring had such a great score to it and had great sound effects that it literally like the entire sound department probably made that movie because it was ridiculously like the sound of it brought the tension. It wasn't just the imagery, like the sound drove it home.
dude, the clapping game
Yeah.
was the best part. Or was the scariest part of that movie.
Like and that's one of those movies that actually got me back into like watching horror films. Is like
they can make it scary again.
the original Conjuring. It was like holy shit, they could actually like bring a little bit back and like that a little bit of that fear back into you. And I think this is like I was older, a little bit wiser. Obviously, I watched like a lot of like horror movies, and I was like, and it's like, and you just get like. To me, that movie brought back a little bit of that twinge of like,
Again,
I love
James
horror
Wan.
movies. It's
James
like
Wan.
He
Yeah.
also did Aquaman, right?
No, I know he's done quite a few movies
Yeah.
other than horror films.
Yeah.
but he's done The Matrix, right?
No, that was the Wachowski.
Wachowski.
Yeah, that was the
brothers.
Wachowski
But I
brothers.
thought he helped write the screenplay for.
Maybe, I don't know.
No.
I don't go that deep into movies at all.
Okay. I'll have to look that up. I probably won't fact check this during the podcast.
No, it
or
was Steven
put this out.
Spielberg.
But
Just kidding.
anyways, yeah. You guys want to move on from films because we can talk about
No,
films
not
all day.
yet.
We can talk
Oh, I
about
want to
films
throw
all
in
day.
this random thing.
No,
You guys
okay,
ever
so I've never.
Hey,
okay,
I
so
ask my question.
Well, wait. I've never actually given my like scariest movie yet, though.
Whoa, damn
So-
it! You're just listing.
I've talked about so many.
You don't let us talk about so many movies. You're just like,
So you
Well,
do your top 10 countdown.
Well, I'm letting you.
Number 9.
I'm letting you guys talk the entire time. Like I bring up one thing and you guys start going like on a rant about both of them, like all of them.
All right, we're gonna shut
Okay,
up now.
so-
We're gonna shut up.
The
now.
thing that like actually so this is the
Number
thing that,
one scary one.
number one scary one thing to me was because I think this is because I was working at a hotel by myself at the time and I had like a lot of freaky shit happen to me at this hotel was 1408 freaked me out. I watched that movie, couldn't work, like I literally like went to work every day at night by myself and I was just like freaking the fuck out.
that one's actually based off a Stephen King novel.
It is. It's fucking. It scared the shit out of me. And, like it was one of those first times that I literally got scared by a movie, and I was like, "Oh damn!" And I like had to go to work every night by myself, and I was just like, "Damn." I think that's the extra thing that drove it home was I had to go to work every night by myself.
There's a story I heard about Stephen King where the first time he ever got really scared, I think it was by a spider, and ever since then, he's always wanted, like in his stories, when he ever wrote stories, he always wanted to recreate that same fear.
Okay, so
It was something like that. It wasn't that shallow of what I just said. It was so much deeper than that.
okay, so this is the thing that I have to like. Okay, I gotta explain this part of the. It wasn't the movie that scared me. What scared me at work was that this is like kind of like when there was we had a little radio in our at the front desk.
Sure.
And I always put my phone right next to it. And I could tell when a text was coming in because the radio signal picked up part of the cell phone signal.
Yeah.
So part of the cell, like like the radio signal would come in first because obviously that's a little stronger and it works better. So it would go da-da, 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 and it would always make this like this triple beep before you ever got a text message on my phone. So I would put my phone right next to this to that speaker so I could hear it. Obviously, and the funny thing is if I had the radio on, it would interrupt the radio signal. So you could hear this thing go da-da, 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 and then it would go bzzz, and then you'd finally get your message, like literally like a half a second afterwards. But sometimes my phone would be there and I would hear da-da, 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 but never hear a message come through. And I was like, okay. I was like, well, that's just weird. I was like, maybe somebody else in the hotel is getting a message. I don't know, whatever. But all the time that I always went to the back office to go use the fax machine, my assistant manager would always put her hand on my back and like move me to the side when I was in her way, and she would be like, hey, scooch over, I need to get by. I was like, okay. Then when I was working by myself and I always went to go fax things off in the morning, like sometimes I would feel things touch my shoulders or touch the small of my back and move me, like try to move me to the side like she would. And I was like, there was one day I was so tired that I literally I said, I'm sorry. And then she's like, and then I just heard in my ear, it's okay. I was like, I didn't freak out. I didn't scream. I didn't yell. I didn't do shit. I was just like, I'm fucking tired. I felt something touch me. I moved out of the way. I said I'm sorry that I was in the way, and I just said,
oh, it's okay.
And I was like, and you just hear a response, and you're like, fuck this, I'm getting out of this office, I'm going back to the front of the office where all the light is. And I just went back to I finished the entire I finished my audit, I faxed off all the paperwork, and I just went back, I did my job, and I never told anybody about that. And I was just like, damn. And 1408 was a movie about a hotel. That was scary, and I was like, it freaked me out.
1408 was a pretty intense movie. So are we moving away from movies now?
Yeah, we can move away from that. I just wanted to explain that. Cool. That was my scariest thing.
Cool.
Because
I'm going to go to a break real quick. Break time! And we're back from break.
It's bullshit, man.
It's bullshit.
Oh, God. Why would you say
it's
bullshit?
It's a conspiracy, man. I swear.
Since when? I'm just kidding.
So,
you know what's about where your water comes from.
No.
Because the government...
So, we just talked about TV and movies. All right? We talked about 2 of the 3 things we talked about.
Yeah.
So we've got quite a bit to go through.
Yeah.
Still. So I'll go first. Music horror. Right?
Oh, I thought we were doing anime.
No, we're doing anime after music.
Okay.
Because we're doing TV, movies, music. Because, music and TV can go together. Audio and music.
Okay.
Audio and TV.
Okay, cool.
/ movies. So, first thing I'm going to name off is, it's not really seen as a horror movie, but I can respect it as a very much thing that, rattles the bones and everything. But A Nightmare Before Christmas, I would consider the soundtrack to be horror music.
Okay. That's an interesting choice. Yeah.
Do you not agree?
No. I'm trying to correlate a lot of horror stuff to it. Like This Is Halloween, and how they're stuffing weird shit into present boxes. Yeah.
Yeah,
I agree.
The entire soundtrack, the entire album you get for the soundtrack has, the elements of scary and horror. And that's one of the things I really enjoy.
And to be honest, this is a hard category because a lot of horror movies just pull from popular music and then they try to give it a ominous vibe to it.
Mm-hmm. You're right. There's Scream. There's fucking Michael Myers, Halloween.
Yeah, definitely.
Shit, you mentioned that earlier.
Yeah.
I won't take credit for that.
No, the Michael Myers soundtrack, the fucking Halloween soundtrack.
That's Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
I didn't do it right. I didn't do it right. But yeah.
Yeah, just the scores they played, like they weren't even like they weren't even that wasn't even music. It was just literally just ominous sounds.
So I feel like you just disrespected music.
Sorry.
In my face.
No, what I'm saying is
music is supposed to portray an emotion that they want you to feel.
No, but
and
that's
if you're feeling fear within sounds, that is music.
No, what I mean it's like that wasn't.
That's music.
That was
That's music.
But it was like I would call that a sound clip.
You call it a sound clip. I like it's not wrong, but it doesn't mean it's not music. If music, like if a sound gives you emotion,
Yeah.
I count that as music.
Okay. Cool. Dope. I mean,
Do you not agree?
okay. So it's like, yeah. I have to be honest. I wouldn't consider it music because it doesn't have a melody. It doesn't have.
Dog. There's probably a rap with that. So
But it like.
sorry.
But no, like even rap has a melody. It's not.
They
It's a non.
sample that
It's not. It's non-traditional.
into their beat.
It's
so
non-traditional, but it's like it is a melody. Like this is literally just like a sound bite.
Dog, rap horrorcore, that's a thing.
Dude, I would like to listen to that. Get me some. Pull me up some. Pull me up some.
But
No,
but you don't consider that music.
sound clips? Not really. I don't consider sound clips music.
No. Sounds that emit emotions.
No, okay. So I agree that there are like, dude, sound clips can like convey a lot of different emotions.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I don't think that can be like you can say that that's music.
I think you guys got to elaborate.
As a
I think there are
audio
sounds.
engineer,
I think
I think any sound that emits emotion can be counted as music.
But and this is where I disagree a little bit because I don't think I think a lot of things can convey emotion. I don't think they can all be like audio wise. I don't think all those things can be like considered this is music. Obviously, a baby's cry conveys emotion, but I don't consider that music.
No. There have been studies proven that when babies cry, they cry in certain
in a certain melody, in a certain melodic tone, so that they can be heard. Obviously, and I don't think that's music, though.
Sure, agree to disagree. Correct.
Fair.
Okay.
That is very fair.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of times like I mean it's the same idea that saying that like a bird is not melodic. Obviously, it's humming and singing in a certain tone, like that in itself, singing a tone.
Yeah.
It's making a melody so that it can be heard in a certain way.
Sure. Yeah.
But
do you consider that music?
To be honest, not really.
Not really. Okay. Agree to disagree.
I mean,
and if we can move past this.
To be honest, like the where I draw these stupid weird lines. Communication and music are. I mean, obviously they can intertwine, but they're two different things.
Again, agree to disagree.
Yeah, no, definitely, because we're never going to agree on this.
I have so many arguments in this, but I don't want to get into it.
So,
definitely.
Could I interject that I once heard a baby crying to the tune of Lamborghini Mercy? So, bam, myth
I
busted.
hope you recorded this.
I gotta find out where that baby is.
Oh my god. Sure. But we're talking about horror-themed music.
Horror-themed music. You got one?
Yodel Kid.
The Walmart Yodel Kid?
We're not, but see,
okay, all right.
You're taking this in the direction that we're not like intended to go. Like you're
sorry. I know it's really hard for me to stay on track with this whole theme because I'm not big on horror, but I do remember this one tune. It's a royalty-free one, and I've used it on my a few podcasts that were somewhat like scary
Again, his podcast
storytelling.
is Bros and Brews, in case you didn't know, because we didn't mention it at the beginning, but we're mentioning it now.
Yeah, you were supposed to plug that at the beginning.
And
I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
you're not
Okay.
getting there. You went there before you got there.
And to be honest, an hour is good enough time to get there. And I'm
Has it
pretty
been
sure
an
we've been
hour?
going for like an
It's
hour.
been past an hour actually. But yeah,
But yeah, this royalty-free song, basically it's just like this music box. And, you know, it's got this creepy tone to it. And then afterwards, like, one of the notes kind of becomes out of tune. And then, you know, that sharp piano abrupt sound happens. And then this
That's the
ominous
flat tone, actually.
noise takes over afterwards. Well, whatever about the piano, but... So I think that's pretty creepy because I like to use that for like scary storytelling.
no, I get that.
So it's a royalty-free song. I'm pretty sure you probably heard it on like plenty of YouTube channels. But yeah, I would say that's a pretty good horror song. But otherwise, yeah, I'll just leave it at that.
Okay. Well, the ones I would go with was like to be honest, I don't know the names of them because they're way out of my time period, I guess. But like a lot of classical music, especially played in like really ominous ways, they're scary as shit. They set the mood really well. Obviously, the composers back then, they knew how to convey sound. And some of the times it was like, I had to, and I lost it because drinking, but I had two in mind, and then I was like, damn. But like they're classical music, and they were super dramatic, like.
Okay,
But they were so much so that they were like, it was like, just the way they played it conveyed so much emphasis on like
sure.
horror and like.
One of the ones I think of all the time, in terms of classical music being horror, in terms of music, is the Nutcracker.
See, that's one of those things that can be turned into like a really, like, the other thing was the music box. The melody for the music box that they always played, like that was always on like a little a spin tune. That was always like a
A mobile
No, not a mobile.
Like, you know how those
Like a
ballerina
music box.
dancing
Yeah,
and shit.
the
You twist it and it turns.
Yeah, it was called the music box. Where you literally
There
just
was
like
always a music box that you would turn.
you just opened up.
the tune.
I mean,
yeah.
there's always a different.
It was always like boom.
Well, that's what I was talking about earlier.
And it was like
Were you though?
Yes, I mentioned the music box.
In terms of like a scary story, like you said, Jack in the Box, which is a totally different thing.
I said Jack in the Box.
You said Jack in the Box.
I said Jack in the Box. We should probably move on to anime at this point because I think we all got one for anime, right? Derek, you don't have one for anime? You're not a weeb like that? Come on, man.
No, he's not.
How dare you?
No.
Just kidding.
I do have one for anime actually. It's called Another.
Another. Nice.
Yes.
Never heard of it. Can you explain?
Spoiler alert! If you want to watch this anime, you don't want to know nothing about it because it's such a great horror anime.
Give us a good gist about it and try, like, obviously don't give it away too much, but like just give us a good gist about it.
I can't tell you about this anime without giving it all away.
Okay, it's one of those. Gotcha. But give it away, man.
So spoiler alert. I don't know how far you have to skip ahead for this. Yeah. So there's this new kid. He comes to school, right? And he doesn't understand why everyone's ignoring this one girl in school. And he barely moved to this town. And everyone's ignoring her. They don't acknowledge that she's there. And everyone's telling him to be like, who are you talking about? Like, she's not there. What are you talking about? There's this girl here. And every time he acknowledges her, someone dies.
Okay.
And there's this whole thing
Yeah, that'll bring some tension to the thing. Yeah, okay.
and like, you know, like there's this whole point where you don't expect someone to die and then they die, and it's like, holy fuck, like that just happened. And I guess I didn't give it all away, but yeah,
but it does really good.
That's as far as I'm gonna go with that.
So it does a really good job of like saying like, oh yeah, well there's no way that this person can die, and then it just happens.
No, they don't say that this person can't die. They're just like, who are you talking about? And then the person's like, this person, and then it's like, holy shit, someone else died. And it's just a whole thing you have to understand with the anime. It's only like a season long.
Can I give a small reference to it? It's
Sure.
like, is it kind of like when Game of Thrones, like when it first started, was like, all you have all these stories about like all these different people, but all of them are on the table. So all of them are on the chopping block, like in a sense that even though this person has a really good story and a really good dedicated line, you could fucking chop their block anytime.
Yeah. Their head's gonna get cut off.
It's like like
anybody's up for grabs.
Okay, yeah. At that point, like anybody's up for grabs. Okay, good.
Sure, yeah. No, yeah. Another is a great fucking horror anime.
And I think I think people can relate to a little more. Is like the whole idea of Game of Thrones is like that's what, like, not just the sex portion of it, but like in that entire series, a lot of people, even though they had good like fucking protagonists like draws to them, they were still on the goddamn chopping block. Yeah, and a lot of them did.
Anybody could die at this point. Like,
yeah,
you don't know who.
Yeah, it was one of those like things where like, oh fuck, they murdered that person. It's like, and that was one of the good draws to it. I mean, and if you do that in a horror way in that anime, like that's good storytelling.
No, it's a great one actually.
I haven't seen too many anime that were actually horror driven, but like if you truly think about it, like towards the end of like Demon Slayer, that's when it started getting into a horror story, where it was like truly a horror story.
Okay. Explain to me which part.
At the end, where you start to learn about like I don't know if it was the 7 or the 9, but like the numbered demons.
Sure.
You start to learn about the numbered demons, and the numbered demons were like super OP, pretty much. Yeah. They were way too overpowered.
Yeah.
And like there were things you traditionally could not destroy at all. And in that sense, it was also one of those things where it was like, hey, why the hell are you going up against something that can't be destroyed? And then there's like, the only way you can do that is by breaking barriers, and obviously that happens. But
yeah.
The build up toward it is like, he is not the greatest fighter. He is doing something because, I mean, it's a traditional storyline. He's doing something for somebody else.
Like in terms of anime, yeah, it's like one of the most traditional. What the fuck's it called?
I don't think it's shonen.
Shonen.
That's
what
shonen?
I'm thinking.
That's
what I'm thinking. It's a traditional shonen like epilogue.
Anime. Okay, yeah.
/ like you know, like it's like, hey, like we're building up to something from this.
Yeah, it's like sacrifice for family, and then it's like a building point. It's a gradual. It's one of those stupid things where you. I mean, I guess that's shonen, but like the idea that you're always facing something outside of your reach, but you overcome it.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Yeah. It's a classic shonen.
Yeah.
Right there. But you know, it's classic shonen's always been great.
Yeah.
Like it's
not
a bad thing.
Yeah, but the entire storyline is all demonic, and
it's traditional in shonen aspect, but it's not at the same time.
Yeah, it's also like but the if you truly think about it, the entire storyline is like, I mean, zombies, ghosts, ghouls, shit like that. Everything all the way up in between, and it's like it's everything you wouldn't want. But he overcomes all those things.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes it a more of a heroic story, is that he's overcoming like supernatural entities and all these things, but in the truest sense of the form, it's like he's overcoming horror.
Sure, I can see that.
It scared the like, to be honest, like it didn't scare me, but like the idea would scare me that the first time he encountered a numbered demon was scary as like that would be scary as shit.
Yeah,
to face one of the highest ranking demons.
it was two of them at the same time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but he only kills one.
yeah.
Wow.
Anyways, like,
The spoilers.
If you don't watch anime, just watch this show, man.
Yeah.
It's such a great show.
One of the good
Demon Slayer. Demon
yeah.
Slayer is one of the best new shows out there for anime.
Yeah. Highly rated above Attack on Titan because I didn't like that show since it started.
Like how many seasons have you watched Attack on Titan?
2.
You watched 2?
I've watched
the best season out of all of them.
To be honest, the first 2 turned me off to the third one, and when I watched 3 episodes of 3, and I was just like, it didn't have enough draw to me, and I was like, I can't.
I don't know, man. The third one is like I watch it just because everyone's like, oh, it's a great show. I'm like, all right, I'll watch the first season. I'll watch the second season. I'm okay with it. It's not my favorite.
To be honest,
then I got the third one, and I kept watching the third one. And the more the third one kept going on, the better it got. Because you start understanding what's going on.
To be honest, I always describe Attack on... I know that people love Attack on Titan. The way I describe it to people, I always say, Attack on Titan's great if you don't normally watch anime. And if you don't realize that there's great stories to be told in anime.
Sure.
And this is if this is your introductory point, cool, because this is a good story. It's a great story, and it's a great way to get into the idea that something animated isn't just about hearts, love, and just fucking what the American version is.
No, because it's not. Most anime isn't.
Yeah, most anime isn't, and most anime has depth. It doesn't. So much depth.
I've cried more to anime than movies, TV, and music combined.
Yeah, anime has depth to it, and that's something that and it's something meant for children in another country, which is weird. But the idea that we're teaching shit like Dora the Explorer and Blue's Clues to people, and it's
come on,
oh yeah, and then, but
everybody, let's go.
But in another country, anime is the idea of cartoons for children, and that teaches such a stronger message. It's crazy.
But Derrick, do you have any thoughts to add to that? No.
Do you have I know you. Well, we both understand that you
not
don't.
Big on the anime world.
Sure. Okay. We can move on.
We can go to music. Well, no, we already did music.
We did music. What's next? Games. Horror games. One of my favorite, actually. Oh, gosh. The first time I played Doom 3.
Really?
That shit fucked me up. You gotta realize, when I was playing Doom 3 the first time, I was in 6th grade.
Okay. That'll make sense.
And
that'll freak you out.
And I played it with friends, and I was just like, no, you have the controller now. I'm gonna watch what you're doing. And that was probably one of the first horror games I actually ever played. But I played many more after that, but Doom 3 was the first one that actually got me. Silent Hill 2, I played that later on, which is an older game than Doom 3. But same effect.
Do you got some, Derrick?
Do you play horror games at all, Derrick?
Chernobyl,
once or twice.
Postal. Give your best one.
So Dead Space and the Metro series, and that's about it. Really, BioShock.
BioShock's a good one, yeah.
That's about it.
BioShock's a horror game?
It can be.
That is weird. Dead Space. I can see Dead Space being one. Like, that's fair.
No, Dead Space is a horror game.
I mean,
Excuse you?
yeah.
Dead Space 2, at like the start of that. Holy shit. Like the first 20 minutes of Dead Space 2 hit all the right notes.
What about Last of Us? Hit some good notes too.
I really like the story. I really like the story of Last of Us.
Yeah.
Didn't like the gameplay.
Fair. That is very fair. Okay, so obviously I'm a little older. I've seen this develop, but back in the day, before horror games were a thing, the first Resident Evil, the second Resident Evil, there was no comparison to those two games at all.
Dino Crisis.
No.
Dino Crisis I compared to Resident Evil. It's made by the same company, Capcom.
Yeah.
And I compare Resident Evil 2 to Dino Crisis all the time.
No.
I do.
The thing you would compare to like Resident Evil from that time that was traditionally only released in Japan was Parasite.
So I still compare it to Dino
Parasite
Crisis.
Eve was like one of the like
You said I couldn't compare it to anything. I compared it to Dino Crisis.
what shitty game.
Dino Crisis is a great fucking game.
But it wasn't scary at all.
It was.
Not as bad as fucking Resident Evil.
I mean, I was as scared as those dinosaurs as I was scared as those zombies.
But see, that's like that's a generation.
That doesn't change what it was for me.
That's a generational thing, though.
That doesn't change what it was for me.
To be honest, I'm speaking about this like personal, like as personal experience. That didn't scare me at all. Dino Crisis didn't scare me at all. Like games like the original Resident Evil, that scared the shit out of me. Resident Evil 2, that scared the shit out of me. Parasite 1, Parasite 2, those games scared the living shit out of me.
To be honest, I have no clue what Parasite is.
Oh god. You don't want to know then, because it like all those 4 games, I think all those 4 games came out before that fucking dino bullshit.
Dino Crisis came out around the same time as Resident Evil 2.
Yeah, and Parasite and Resident Evil 1 both came out around the same time. But like Parasite wasn't the same thing as Resident Evil because Parasite was a turn-based it was an active RPG. One of the first, like, I don't know why the fuck they give like active RPG to like some of these newer games. I don't know why they say that, oh yeah, this was the first. No, it wasn't. Parasite Eve was like so far ahead of its time that it literally like you had this fucking like active time bubble, and then you had this like, oh god, that game has so much to it. But it was such a good story, like, and and that's the time you believed in storylines. It was like it wasn't the CGI, it wasn't the fucking like, obviously graphics were shit back then, so like you weren't following those. You were following story. Story sold all of it. And
yeah,
the story of Resident Evil, Parasite Eve, shit like that just like drove it home, and it was scary as fuck. And then like on top of the things that were like happening in the background and like creepy sounds and like all this new innovative stuff that they came out with. Obviously innovative back in the day wasn't that great because it was obviously the first time they brought it into the genre of games, but it was creepy. It scared the shit out of people. Literally, like I remember Resident Evil being banned because it was too goddamn scary for people in some states. And then but Parasite Eve wasn't, and but that was mainly because it was a Japanese game, and they didn't like, and it had a Japanese title, so nobody ever understood that it was in English as well.
Another anime horror, Parasite.
Oh yeah, anime horror, yeah, Parasite. Not the same game.
Not the same.
Not the same. Not the same as the game. Parasite Eve was an entirely different thing.
Not related.
Yeah, completely unrelated.
But Parasite.
Yeah, Parasite was a
Anime
great
horror.
great anime.
Got weird at the end, but like it held up.
It did hold up. I mean, didn't they make it like a live action movie out of it?
Maybe. I don't watch the live action animes anymore.
Dude,
I can't trust them. Can't trust them.
They start to ruin the original.
like when you do a live action anime, you can't take it too seriously.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it gets just
it gets pushed to the back. It's pushed to the back of everything. But also for games, Jesus.
Silent Hill 2.
And Silent Hill 1. Fuck 2. The original story was so scary. I mean, this is also comes from the idea of like graphics weren't the thing. Fucking Pyramid Head in the very first one when he was a major boss, that scared the shit out of you because it was like obvious. Like you obviously had that first like that when the radio came through with his tone. It was like, it was like, oh. Fuck, he's here! Like that scared the shit out of you, and you were just like your heart beat, you fucking like everything was like run for your goddamn life.
Sure,
but like you hear that, so rarely in the first one, so much so that in the second one they bring it up kind of early, and it's like, well, it doesn't have as much pull, it doesn't have as much weight to it.
Sure,
But for people who played the second one first, it has a shitload of draw to it. It still had that major draw to it.
No, yeah. Actually, Silent Hill 2 back then was rated as the most scariest game ever.
But Resident Evil was before that.
Before Silent Hill.
What?
Yeah.
No. What I'm saying is Resident Evil used to be the first. And
not Resident Evil. Silent Hill. Silent Hill 2 was rated the most scariest game before Silent Hill. Or Resident Evil. It was rated the most scariest game ever.
No, that's a lie.
Whether you think that or not, people thought that.
I remember reading this stupid stuff in Game Informer.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious. Because, like, obviously you can go back and, like, you could probably, like, dig this stupid thing up on the internet now. Like, I remember Resident Evil 1 and 2 being the scariest things. And then hearing about Parasite, and then Parasite 2, and then hearing about, I mean, if you hear about the foreign version of it, it's well, not the foreign version of it, I guess it's the original, the Biohazard version, which is Resident Evil. But Silent Hill came out way after all these horror games, but it was never, it was like considered the scariest at the time, but there was also these things way beforehand that also made the entire genre, and they were scary as shit.
Sure. You know what the last game that actually scared me was?
What's that?
Destiny. The first Destiny.
How?
The thralls, when you're in the complete darkness, that ran after you. And while you were not at light, they could kill you so easily.
Not scary though, to be honest. I mean, it was a shitty thing. Yeah, I mean, but it wasn't.
Were
to me.
You there though?
Yes,
I played. You there,
yeah,
though?
I played Destiny all the way up until it died. Destiny 1 all the way up until it died, and then like
died though.
It did.
It didn't.
It did.
It didn't. We can argue about this all night. Skip past it.
So, it didn't scare me as much as like other things.
Sure.
So, like most games.
But does that take away from what, like, the last thing that scared me?
No, not at all. Like the fact that it scared you, like it's. I don't consider it a scary game. It's a first-person shooter.
No, I don't consider it a scary game as well. But like, at that point when I played it, when the thralls when you first meet the thralls,
yeah, it didn't scare me.
That was,
to be honest, it didn't scare me.
We're not talking about you.
But we're talking about scary stuff.
We're talking about me being scared the last time in the game.
But you're asking my opinion. Didn't scare me.
No, I didn't ask you your opinion.
So what are we talking to me for?
I'm telling you.
Oh, okay.
And then you just inserted your opinion on it.
Oh, okay, my bad. Yeah. Might have had a lot of drink. I thought you were asking me something.
I wasn't.
Thought you were asking me something. My bad.
I told you something.
My bad.
Then you just completely
inserted myself to do it.
Yeah.
My bad. Good times.
What else do we have on the list? We got anime, games, movies, TV shows, and music. I guess
we did music.
Yeah, no,
No, we did music.
Yeah, we just went through it all.
Okay, cool.
Is what I'm saying. Do you have any games to add, Derrick?
No, not from just my previous list.
Okay, cool. So I guess we're on the nightcap.
We are. Damn. Nightcap. What are y'all drinking?
Currently, I am drinking a Tower Station from Mother Road Brewing, which again is probably my favorite brewery in town / brewery ever.
Derrick.
Samesies.
And I'm
the exact same Z's. Is it
Sure,
your
man.
favorite brewery in town?
No.
No. You prefer Dark Sky?
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Why do you prefer Dark Sky?
Something different all the time. Got to talk with co-founders a couple times as well on the show, and it's that cool people there, always switching it up.
Nice.
Sounds dope. I mean, I have a different opinion of them, but I'm glad you have a great experience with them. I am also drinking a Tower Station. Obviously, I bought it, put it in front of us. It's the thing we're drinking right now. But what would you consider your drink of the night? How about that?
Your favorite drink of the night?
Yeah, your favorite drink of the night.
The Doers had the highest content, and that's what put me on the high ride for a moment.
Nice.
So yeah, that was the drink of the night.
The Doers?
So the Doers?
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Dope.
What about you, Darren?
Me? I'm gonna go with the. Since we're drinking the Tower Station, I'm going with the Tower Station because obviously one of my favorite things to drink. Like I'm such a big fan of Mother Road. Like I really like. Me and Uriah play disc golf all the time. I want to go there. I want to pay for overpriced discs from that place just because it has their logo on it.
Slash hats, slash shirts,
slash hats, slash sweaters, slash shirts, slash socks, slash everything. I want to buy a lot of this stuff from this company. It's one of my favorite breweries.
If I had the money to spend on it, I would do it.
Yeah, to that. I mean, I do have the money to do it. It's just that we're in quarantine time. I don't think they're doing anything right now with any of those other sponsorship things outside of alcohol right now, just because they don't want to like potentially spread anything. But
Yeah.
I don't think they're doing anything other than alcohol right now, so I'm not trying to buy anything from other than alcohol from them. But I would. I mean, I got money. Give it. I give you it.
That fry meme, like, take my money.
Yeah, exactly. Take my money. Yeah, it's good times. It was but Tower Station. My favorite thing from them is Daily Driver. Couldn't get that delivered, but got the Tower. Also great.
pretty dang all good.
Yeah.
My drink of the night would actually be the scotch we got.
The Doers?
The Doers.
Doers.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I really liked it. Mixed or not mixed.
Yeah, like, it wasn't, I mean, as far as scotches go, it's not my favorite, but it is good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's, but right now we're drinking my, obvious, I mean, call me a fanboy of this. I'm a fanboy. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go for fanboy status right this. But great scotch, like Doers. I haven't had it until today. That was some really good scotch. It was definitely noteworthy.
Hell yeah. Cool. So, yeah, this is Nightcap. We hope you guys are having a good night, and hope you have a good morning, or whenever you listen to this.
Yeah.
Again, this
Bloppity bloopity bloop.
Again, this is me, Ryan, your host. Darren, your co-host.
Woo-hoo.
Derrick, our guest.
Wait,
do you want to add your plug?
We didn't do the dink it. We didn't dink anything, or did we?
We dinked it before.
Yeah. Fair enough. Okay.
Do you want to dink it now?
No. No, I just thought that was like a reoccurring thing. And
it was. We mentioned it.
God damn it.
Derrick?
Derrick, do your plugs.
Yeah, get some plugs in.
Ditto. It's all in the show notes.
It's not in the show notes.
Come on, give yourself a plug, Derrick.
So Derrick runs this podcast called Bros and Brews, and you can find it on a lot of streaming platforms. Do you want to mention those streaming platforms?
Oh, not really.
Okay, that's fine. Just Google Bros and Brews. You'll find it at some point. Yeah, and this is me, Ryan.
This is me, Darren. Yeah.
And this is Derrick.
Yeah, peace.
You have a good night.
With the amazing hat.
The amazing hat. Derrick and the amazing hat. Okay. Good night.
Good night.